Hi, this is Dan Beverley, leadership and performance coach and founder of the ThoughtSpark Performance Academy. And in this video, I'd like to share with you 3 brain-based practices to really enhance your communication skills and in ways that prioritize psychological safety, that clarify and enhance your message, and that deepen understanding and engagement to better achieve your communication goals. So let's start here. Let's start with the human brain. The primary function of the brain is survival. And to carry out that function, it's constantly monitoring our environment, placing us on a scale from reward through to threat, and always looking to move us towards that reward and away from those threats. And it's interesting and useful to note that the brain has a very strong bias towards threat, which makes perfect sense if priority 1 is survival. And from that insight, we can better appreciate than most that it's just so easy to raise a threat in the other person with clumsy or disorganized communication. So I'd like to offer you 3 practices of brain-based communication, 3 disciplines that you can bake into your communication style to help you manage that threat response, to deepen engagement, and so better achieve our communications goals. And idea number 1 is to practice succinct communications. As much as we might love to hear the sound of our own voice, or to pile on with the detail, or to insist that someone needs to hear the whole story, it's very easy to overwhelm our conversational partner's brain. Verbose communications are an absolute blocker to the intake of information and to the processing of it. Therefore, the more simple and clearly we can communicate, the more likely our message lands. Now, being succinct is a learned skill. I need to think carefully before I talk, I need to decide quickly on the essence of what I want to say, and I need to deliver it in as few words as possible, something that only comes with practice. So my coaching challenge for you today is, in your next communication, make every single word count. Really cut to the heart of the issue. Idea number 2 is to practice specific communications. There's way too much information in the world for our brains to process, so we filter the world with 3 strategies that can be summarized as deletion, distortion, or generalization. If I am specific in my communications, I help my conversational partner in their filtering process, and therefore to be able to focus on what's most important. But if I am not specific, not only do I dilute my message and make focusing harder, I can also sound vague, avoidant, and less than engaged, which leads to frustration and confusion. Now, being specific means giving only the relevant information, but also information enough that it is complete, but without violating practice number 1, which is to be succinct. So it's definitely a balancing act, and again, it takes little effort, but being specific builds trust and engagement and moves our conversational topic forward. So from today, make it your communication goal to be specific. And idea number 3 is to practice stepwise communications. You've perhaps noticed that all of our communications exist at different levels of detail, different levels of a particular focus area, and indeed different levels of sensitivity. Now, I want to be really mindful of taking care of each of those levels and being complete before I move on. So it's very useful to introduce some space between each chapter of the conversation, to let it breathe, and to check in and give people the opportunity to check their understanding before proceeding. And for those communications that do move between different levels of sensitivity, where maybe the topic up for discussion is delicate, let's get permission before proceeding into that topic. And as the conversation progresses, let's not also forget to re-permission if there's the need to go deeper still. So there are 3 ideas for brain-friendly communication: to practice succinct, specific, and stepwise communication, to prioritize psychological safety, to clarify and enhance your message, and to deepen understanding and engagement. I hope you found some of that helpful, and as a final coaching challenge before I leave you today, the next time you notice your conversational partner is in some kind of threat state, perhaps they're a little bit frustrated, or there's some annoyance there, or they're getting a little bit defensive, before branding that as their stuff, something they need to go work through, challenge yourself with the thought, what have I just communicated, and how have I just communicated that's raised a threat in the other person? Most people don't have that thought. Those that do enhance their communications tenfold.